Hello, it's Jimmy. Today is the first year of my early retirement. I retired exactly 1 year ago today. It was a Tuesday and not a Wednesday, but it was a fine day. So I wanted to give a little update on how things have been. When I left my job, I packed away everything on my desk. Well, I even took the desk with me because it was my desk and played Frank Sinatra's My Way. And I disappeared into the mist, never to be seen again. Sort of. About a week after I left my full time job, I had a part time job lined up and started that right away. Still at it, and I'm having a good time with it. It's a lot of fun. It's very hands on, but it's not very taxing on the mind or the body. It's nice. I get to be outdoors a lot of the time, have a variety of tasks to do, and I'm enjoying it. It seems like the people I'm working for are enjoying having me around as well. There's been a lot of travel. Both my wife and I have gone to a few places. We were down in Amarillo, Texas not that long ago, and I've done a few little trips on my own. Was just down in Nebraska last week, and last year, when the weather was still good, I had gone out to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, spent a couple days there. So we've been able to travel and have some fun that way, but not get burned out by being on the road too much. We usually go somewhere for a little bit, and it's just long enough to be enjoying the time away, but not so much that it's getting stale. I've had a lot more time to do some projects around the house, and that's been very handy because those projects have been piling up for a while. And of course, new ones get put into the schedule. That's just part of having a home. It's always maintenance. One thing that's been kind of fun is when people ask what I've been up to, or I meet new people and they say, "Well, what do you do?" And I say, "I'm retired." They'll say, "Well, you are too young." I say, age really has nothing to do with it. I'm debt free and I planned for this. So it's exactly where I want to be. It has been a fun conversation starter. I know in one video I talked about how I really don't like meeting new people and going through all that garbage of what you do and using your job as your complete identity. I don't have to do that anymore. So now the conversations usually turn to, well, how do I get to be that way? And I can talk to people about how being debt free has been very instrumental in being able to do this. And having a little bit of cash on the side certainly has helped. And not to mention being rather frugal. That's been helpful, at least for me. I've really not been anxious about not having a full time job. I think maybe at the very beginning there was some relief when I left. It wasn't a terribly horrible situation. I wasn't being abused at the time, but it was just time to move on. So when I did that and it was something I wanted to do, it actually felt pretty good. I haven't been stressed about not having a full time job because I planned for it. I'd spent over 2 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I made that a goal and I worked a plan and it worked. And here I am, 45 years old, debt free, retired early. It's great. Certainly having the part time job has been helpful. Not only does it give me something to do and feel like I'm contributing, but it's also helping me build my Social Security credits. That's kind of something you want to maybe think about if you are interested in retiring early yourself. There are some benefits that come along with building your Social Security credits so that when the time comes, whether be it by age or hopefully not, but if it comes to it, a disability, you'll have an adequate number of credits to keep you rolling along. Obviously, lately the stock market's been a little more volatile than most people are comfortable with, but I plan for all conditions, good and bad. And this is kind of right in the middle of what I was planning for, so I'm quite comfortable. And because I'm still contributing to my Roth IRA, I'm essentially pulling money out of the market in one hand, but completely tax free because I don't pay long term capital gains tax on that money. And because I'm working, that's earned income, I can then still fully fund my and my wife's Roth IRAs. Because with earned income, you can do that. You're not allowed to fund an IRA if you don't have earned income. So rental, real estate, no. Dividends, no. Just gains from other investments, no. It has to be earned income. And because I can control the amount of income, I keep it under that long term capital gains rate. The other advantage of having the market down, I mean, it's not good to take it out of the market when it's down, but since all of this money has been put in a long time ago, it was put in at a discount. So I get to take it out tax free. Is still above what I bought in at. And then when I move it to my Roth IRA, I'm buying those shares at a big discount, which is great. And because it's a Roth, no taxes ever on that, unless politicians get stupid. I don't think they will. They're already pretty dumb. The pace of life that we live at now has been nice. We've just slowed things way down, living more intentionally and, quite honestly, a little bit more frugally. We don't have to eat out as much. Our dining out budget for last month, I think it was $80, and we didn't even spend $40. Just don't eat out that much. There's plenty of good stuff to eat at home. And because we're not going out to work every day and being crunched for time, we don't have to eat lunches out. Another nice thing about not being time bound for everything is, well, good example on my trip back from Nebraska last weekend. I spent an additional night on the road, Sunday night into a Monday. It was kind of rainy, so it was nice not to have to blast my way back home to quick go to bed and wake up for a job. I did work in the afternoon on Monday, but I mean, I really could have called them and said, hey, I'm not going to make it in. I don't want to abuse that privilege, but it's nice knowing that nothing is really going to fall apart if I don't show up. Going back to when people ask, well, how do I do this? I give them the same advice as the actions that I took. Stop being a slave to debt. Don't have it in your mind. Pay off all your debt. Don't even think of it as an option. Just avoid debt altogether. And mankind wasn't designed to live this way, being slaves to debt. It's horrible. It's a very bad cycle. It's quite crushing. Once you erase debt and the use of it in your life, it's quite freeing. You'll unlock a feeling that can't really be synthesized. It's not something you can buy. Once you experience it, you'll understand, but you can't get there until you've taken the shackles of debt out of your life. It feels right because it is right. Again, I don't believe mankind was designed this way, that we live our existence being slaves to debt. Get a good job, work hard, get a bunch of toys, and just keep the cycle going. It's not right. It's nice to have nice things from time to time, but making payments for everything in life, even a sandwich brought to you by a DoorDasher, not good. Don't do it. I'll go back to a stereotypical job interview question that a potential employer may ask some candidates, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, whatever? And most people I've interviewed over the years don't have a really good, solid answer for that. At some point, I think we just stopped even asking people because it was getting sad. I do think it's a good thing to make long-term plans. I've been a long-term strategist for most of my life. I do like to think about what to do in the future and possibilities and making goals. So maybe that's just inherent to my personality, but I think it's something everybody should be able to exercise. If you want to do this, you want to retire early, or maybe you don't want to retire early, but at some point you'll want to retire. Where do you start? Well, here's my recommendations. Just start thinking about what you might want to do. You don't have to have a completely detailed plan. Just start thinking, well, what are things that I like to do now that I want to do in the future? What do I want my life to look like? Imagine being debt free and how that is going to be a huge improvement on your life. All of the things that you're making payments for, you don't have to make payments for anymore. It's great. Start there. And then you can daydream and research, and then get more specific about forming those goals. The important thing is to just make plans, whatever they are. That's where you have to start. If you do nothing and don't plan for anything, well, then nothing is going to happen. Generally, things don't just fall into your lap. Nobody's going to drop a $400,000 motorhome off in your driveway and say, well, there you go, have fun. Life doesn't work that way. And for the very few people where something weird like that happens, they typically don't handle it well because they don't plan, then they haven't exercised that muscle. You can certainly start exercising that muscle. And then if somebody does drop something fun off for you, you'll be a little bit better equipped to handle it. Well, that's all I've got to say on my 1 year of being retired, and maybe a little bit of help for people that might want to do the same. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Winnie, shush. That fly wants to be eaten. Did I get it? Nah.